Dear friends, dear sisters, dear activists, today is International Women's Day. Today we remember the struggles women faced, but more importantly, we celebrate the achievement in terms of gender equality and women's rights of the last 100 years. Today we speak out for women's empowerment worldwide and for the objectives we lay ahead for women. As President of PES Women today, I would like to look ahead and face the challenge for women across Europe. Despite the numerous achievements, one big challenge women face across Europe is the effect of the crisis on women and the widening gender pay gap. The harmful economic and financial crisis across Europe, affecting some countries worse than others, is having a devastating effect on women and creates a backlash on women's rights and gender equality. Women already face multiple discrimination in terms of employment, in terms of working patterns, and in terms of wage. Women's employment is around 62%, while men's employment rate is already at 75%. The impact of austerity-only policies put in place in Europe by the conservative governments translates largely into cuts in public budget and services being largely privatized. These cuts affect mostly sector where women are employed and public services that primarily benefit women: education, healthcare, social services. Consequently, the crisis and the policies adopted by the right-wing majority have a disproportionate effect on women. Moreover, the gender pay gap remains at 16.4% in Europe today. So we have to make sure that the situation does not worsen because of the crisis. Gender equality has to be prioritized in times of crisis and not the other way around. PES Women say no to gender pay gap. As president of PES Women, I engage PES Women to campaign in the coming year to shutting pay gap and invest in women despite the crisis. We need to reverse the ongoing trend and not condemn the state role in public services so fast. Privatization has indisputably been a way to demolish public service and public service providers. Instead, we need to create growth and jobs, including in a public sector, by investing in women. We should revalue the care sector, a very female-dominated sector with low salaries, as well as encourage women to enter new booming sectors such as IT, research and green economy, and develop female entrepreneurship. We should also concentrate on promoting young women's employment in order to avoid creating bigger gaps at a later stage. This is what the PES, ECOSI and PES Women have been putting forward through their joint campaign, Your Future is My Future, calling for implementing a youth guarantee at European level, tackling gender segregation in education, developing jobs and skills for women, especially in the green economy, and to push for a sound maternity leave at European level in order to improve reconciliation between professional and private life. Introduce a gender pay gap audit to check whether all member states engage on reducing the gender pay gap for all age groups by 2% per year and per member states until equality in wages has been reached. In parallel, the EU should improve the monitoring of the implementation of anti-discrimination and gender equality legislation, including through the application of clear and decisive sanctions, both at national and at European level. I am calling, therefore, on having a commissioner for gender equality and women's rights to fully be engaged on this as of 2014. This crisis has indisputably a gender dimension. The current crisis is gendered in its causes and in its effect. If we don't acknowledge it, we are never going to solve it. Gender equality is part of the solution and not part of the problem. The crisis cannot longer be used as a fallacious pretext by many conservative governments and leaders to put aside the progressive values, including gender equality. On International Women's Day, I reiterate our engagement on closing the gender pay gap and on empowering women to take up this challenge across Europe. Gender equality is a key topic and should remain high on the political agenda, not only in Europe, but across the world. PES Women will do its utmost to ensure this. Thirdly, it is unacceptable to leave aside gender equality goals, using the crisis as a pretext, so we have to prioritize closing the gender pay gap. Legislation is already there. The time has come for a true implementation now. That's why we need socialists and social democrats back in government at national and European level to make sure that gender equality finally becomes a reality.